what's up you guys, this is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we're going to be taking a look at some vintage off-meta weapons that actually pack a punch. Okay, so one of the big reasons that I really wanted to do this was mainly because in Warframe culture, we have the tendency of always looking forward, or looking for the newest, the hottest, the best kind of things ever, but rarely do we ever look backwards and revisit weapons that might have become even more powerful due to some of the newer mods that have been released. And that's kind of what I feel like has happened with some of these weapons. Now, of course, some of them might be a bit controversial to you. You in your own personal life might be using them a lot, but it's not necessarily something that I hear too much about, at least within my community. So I really wanted to kind of like pull them from the vault and say, hey, take a look at these. These are actually pretty goddamn good. Alright, so for my primary choice, I have the Cum. And now the big thing here is this one's a little bit, this is gonna be the most contentious of the bunch. There's a good group of people that absolutely love this weapon and use this weapon a lot. I've heard it in my comments. However, for those of you who don't know, this was actually released in March 2015. It's a Mastery Rank 2 weapon, and its blueprint is available in the market for 20,000 credits. And it's a big old powerhouse. Now, I don't want to talk about builds, this is just what I'm currently using. I played around with it using viral and whatnot, but this honestly is my preferred setup. Whatever you decide to do with it is what you decide to do with it. Alrighty, so we have gone and pulled out one of our billies. Now, I do have to make note, the comb has a unique property of as it spools up, it adds more and more pellets to its shot. I think it goes from 1 pellet before multi-shot all the way up to 12 pellets, and it consumes 4 ammo per second at like the max spool upness of it. Now, this thing is an absolute beast. As you can see, it's a Mastery Rank 2 weapon that basically ate through a level 150 heavy gunner. And when this weapon first was released, there were just a whole bunch of different issues that came with it, especially because I think Mirage was just fresh out around that time too, and all of the particle effects that were coming off of it were just like way too much for computers to handle. And I had done 2 videos on it, and after that second video I was just like, fuck it, I do not want to cover this weapon anymore. I have tried so hard and I have come so far, and in the end I am fucking tired of you reviewing this weapon. But as you can see, it's fully automatic, so all you have to do is really just sit there and hold the button, let it spool up, and just let it eat through your enemies. It's absolutely insane. It does an amazing job, and I know that there are many Cum fanatics out there that love the Cum. So enjoy, play around with the Cum, and just watch it splatter everywhere. And for those of you who are curious, this isn't how the Cum normally looks like. I've actually got the Harkonnen skin on it, and I've just kind of matted out the 2 different kind of like speckle areas that I absolutely hate. But the Harkonnen skin set, and I know that somebody is going to be like, I told you, I was the one who told you. But they had stated back in the day that it's got some cool metallics to it, and they're right, it does have some amazing metallics to it. So I picked up the whole set just to be able to zhuzh up really, really ugly grittier weapons with some not halfway decent, with some really nice metallics. Okay, so this weapon you may have seen before in one of my videos. The Magnus was featured in my armor bypassing or armor shredding secondaries video. It was there somewhere, but it is a Mastery Rank 0 weapon that was released in February of 2014. That was like more than 3 years ago, and this thing is still kicking. And it's mainly due to the fact that we got additions such as Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker that allow it to really do some hefty work. Alright, so I have to say, this thing is just an absolute beast. I mean, I didn't, like, when I first reviewed it, I was like, man, this weapon's gonna be aight. It wasn't all that great. In fact, I think that when I referred to it, I was like, this is just okay. And as you can see now with the addition to some of these new mods, the Magnus is absolutely wrecking, and that's kind of like one of the things that we need to keep in mind, especially for the last weapon on this list, because it's probably not one that you're going to see coming. Unlike the Cum, which you will definitely see coming. But legitimately, like, it's mod additions that sometimes can change things up completely. Like in the past, I definitely had made statements that, oh, like, the only status that matters is dead. And that is still the case, especially for like Star Chart content. But legitimately, when we get more mods added in, like Drifting Contact, or a Weeping Wounds, or Condition Overload. Things like that can really change the way a weapon works, and that's the same thing that happened for Prime Target Cracker and the other one that was also primed that I showed you in this, whatever it was, because this literally changed the weapon that was just kind of meh, but pushed it in a direction where it just became absolutely insane. And I don't even think the status elementals were out at the point when this weapon was released either. So it's little changes like that can really affect weapons performance, and this one is pretty gosh darn sick. Look at it. And because I'm absolute shit and I forget to mention it earlier, we actually do have a different skin on this, which is the Hive-Light skin. This was actually in the first round of Tennogen. When I say the first round, I mean like this was like way back in the day. First, this is like 0.0 of Tennogen. This was when they actually had a little contest for people to do things like this for weapons. And there's also the, is it Dakilla or Daklia? I know that somebody had said it in the comments, and this probably makes me a bad Filipino to not quite know what it is. But we've got those two different ones. I do like the Hive-Light a little bit better. But, you know, it really just depends on the day. So now at least you know why that looks like, Alright, so this one you may not even know exists. I don't really know what to say. I mean, you should, because with all of the new kind of like things that happened with the Star Chart or whatnot, this actually got taken out of the market and is now only available through the Stolen Dreams quest. You do get that at Mastery Rank 3, I believe, and it's in one of the junctions. I think the Phobos junction. It's the one with Maru in it, but this was actually originally released in April of 2013. We just keep going further back, and to be honest with you, this really didn't get much of a spotlight, mainly because of the fact that, you know, single daggers have covert lethality, and that's kind of like a cool thing. So I was like, nah, let's not talk about, you know, daggers, because that's so kind of like, well, you can use it with anything. You can use covert lethality, and it kind of makes it a little bit better. And there's some good daggers out there, but nobody ever talks about dual daggers. And with the addition of Condition Overload and Drifting Contact and Weeping Wounds, this is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's the best out there. You're not gonna kill enemies in like 1 or 2 hits, but this thing can actually wreck house for a weapon that's given to you as a Mastery Rank 3 quest and a blueprint. So I hope y'all didn't throw away that blueprint. Alright, so we've got Billy here for one more round with us, or a last little dance with us, and I have to admit, there's a little bit of a thing that kind of came out with this weapon that I was kind of cracking up about, was mainly the fact that I had gone through and I had started playing with the weapon, and I was like, wait, what is this stance? I don't recognize this. There is a new stance for daggers called Spinning Needle. Didn't realize that it was a thing. Did not realize that it was a thing at all, because I hadn't touched dual daggers in such a long fucking time. And so I was like, alright, this is definitely the weapon that I have to play around with. And as you can see here, it's not the strongest of the bunch, but it definitely gets the job done against a level 150 corrupted bombard. I mean, Billy's going down. Billy's getting stabbed left and right. And the thing is, it's pretty, I won't say it's the fastest weapon on the block, because at its core, it's actually like at a negative animation speed. I think it's like a 0.887 or something like that. But he went down pretty quick with all the little stabby stabs, and the slash damage from this is pretty nice. So this is definitely one of the big surprises for me, and this is one of the things that really kind of like makes me want to explore more of these vintage weapons to see if anything has actually come out, or if any mods, any old mods have actually, or any old weapons have actually come out that work well with a lot of the new mods, because that's dual daggers, which is highly known as one of the shittiest weapon classes, and it's absolutely slaying a level 150 heavy bombard. Now, I do have to put this out into the universe for you guys, just so that you are aware. I actively avoided weapons like the Dread. I didn't want to take on things that, you know, were within the meta, you know, because the Dread is definitely a meta weapon, and there are lots of meta weapons that are absolutely fantastic and powerful, but I kind of want to toss this one out to you guys. Let me know if there are any weapons that you think that I should highlight that are older weapons that are actually pretty gosh darn good, especially with some of the new mods that have come out, because as I said, we're always looking forward, we're always looking for what's the newest, what's the best, what's the hottest, but sometimes if we look into our back catalog, we can find some real hidden gems. And that's kind of like what I wanted to do here, especially with the Ether Daggers. That was not something that I expected to like. Honestly, I was like, if this is bad, I might just put the Sheev in its place. But legitimately, because the Sheev is actually not terrible now. It's not great now either, but it's not terrible. But I felt like the Ether Daggers represented a category that literally nobody was looking at for a good weapon. So be sure to try these weapons out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. And also dig into your closets and see what else you guys can find and explore the history of Warframe. Really, 2013, and it just massacred 150 heavy bombard. Y'all, look through those closets. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.